This week on SailAway, our hurricane season in wet, wild, and always beautiful Grenada is coming to an end.
Ready.
Good job.
As we continue trying to turn our classic privileged catamaran into a beautiful home. But some projects refuse to cooperate.
We're probably almost $400 into labor with the refrigeration guy. I'm just trying now. This is just a huge soul-sucking thing, though.
And those projects sometimes require more drastic measures.
Hey, look, another big box that you just brought in. Is
that a bad idea? Then we just hook everything up, turn it on. It's gonna work perfectly right out of the gate. I know it.
But we also explain why issues like these can also be a good thing.
One of the reasons that we, and I think a lot of people, come out and cruise, and that is sort of to retrain ourselves to appreciate a lot of things in life. And it really does work well.
And that's good, because on a boat, there's always the next problem.
Just like add it to the list of things that weren't really supposed to be an issue, and now are.
Ever wish you could escape normal life and experience more of the world?
So maybe on that island.
Well, we did just that. We sold everything we owned on dry land and sailed away.
Promise me that we'll sail away.
Now we are roaming the planet in search of new adventures and sharing it with you every week.
Just promise me that we'll sail away.
So hit subscribe and escape normal with us.
And I'll be yours forevermore.
Come on, it's just that little button down there. That's it. It's been 3 months since we moved from our perfectly functioning 46-foot monohull to this big old fixer-upper catamaran. And one particular issue has plagued us from the beginning: no working refrigeration. And even though we're finally in a spot with somebody who can fix it, no matter how many times he does, it just won't stay that way.
The saga continues. I'm just trying shit now, because our fridge guy is having some kind of personal emergency, which, you know, totally understand that. But this thing is, it's almost warm again, and it's still running. I just feel like I'm jumping all over the place on this boat right now. This is just a huge soul-sucking thing, though. I just can't focus on getting other stuff done because we need cold food. So yeah, it's really bringing me down, and we just can't get this guy cornered long enough to really sort through it. And I just don't think he knows what's going on with it. He seems pretty baffled, which is, I don't really want to be paying a guy who has no clue what he's looking for. So that's what I'm doing. Sorry, morning bitch fest. I woke up at 6:30 thinking about this and started in on it. So, you know, if you don't know what to do, just do something. Here's your new refrigerator.
Yay, cold machine.
There she is.
There's my new fridge.
Basically. No, I just have to just attach it.
Hey, look, another big box that you just brought in.
Yeah.
Now we've got 2 big boxes
Oh, you can lift that one pretty easy.
with things that need to be installed.
So it's a kind of a comedy of changed plans with this refrigerator. So I had to go back down to Island Water World to buy this. It's the evaporator box. The problem is, we just don't know when the refrigerator guy will show up to do anything, and we have no idea how much money we're into him for already. It shouldn't be that much, but we don't want to keep paying him to come try to hunt down the problem in the system where there's a leak or which component is bad. And I'm like, we need a fridge now. So we just bought the components, gonna put them together. We'll have one good working fridge.
It's not worrisome at all.
Flames in your boat?
Gosh. Don't light anything on fire.
No, I'm trying not to.
Is that
Hope not. Trying to loosen up the solder joint.
fire with a fart?
No. That was like the most boy thing he's ever said.
And so, out with the old and in with the new. And the good thing is we got a lot of parts to choose from in order to get this freezer working later on. And whatever's left over, hopefully we can unload it on eBay.
So much more compact, it's crazy. Now the annoying part, gotta get all this crap out of the fridge. And I don't have to worry too much about it staying cold because it's not very cold at all. Unfrozen ice cubes. For the layman, that's water.
Dad, can I open up the box?
Pull hard! It looks like an evaporator box. You're like a cat. Just leave an empty box in a room and you're happy. Stuck the landing too. There we go. Comes with a brand new thermostat. There's a point where it's time to stop paying people to diagnose because you're starting to creep up on the price of new stuff. And, you know, is there anything wrong with 3/4 of the items that we are taking out? Probably not. We're probably almost $400 into labor with the refrigeration guy. This entire setup, all new parts, like every single part in it is brand new, came to about $1,200, $1,300, which, yeah, that's a big difference from $4, but how many more $100 are we gonna start racking up if he can't narrow down what the problem is right away? And so far, he hasn't been able to. So that 400 could turn into 600, 700, 800, which is well over half for all new stuff. Plug and play, don't have to charge it, nothing. And it should be capable of doing a fridge larger than what we have. That fridge is about 150 liters, which is a little over 5 cubic feet. And this will do, I believe it's set up to 170 or 190 as a fridge. And it should be a lot more efficient. It's not just about cost and all that, it's time. This is the 4th time now that the fridge has failed after being fixed. You know, then we're buying ice again. God, we've literally bought hundreds of dollars worth of ice since this started. We had no choice in Karyakoo. And you've got to have a refrigerator, man. Like, we're not trying to live off the grid in the woods, you know, with no power. I mean, we want to live well. I mean, we're living in an apartment on the water, basically. We want a fridge. We want it to freeze some ice for us. But right now, like, we've just got so many things to do on this boat. At the same time, trying to have a life and have fun. There's a point at which you've got to start weighing the difference. We hate throwing money at things, but, you know, at some point you've just got to do it. And if you can just do it yourself, which with these kind of components, anybody can put one of these together. It's really nothing to it. Diagnosing an old system and figuring out which part of it is bad, and then wondering which is the next part that might quit. Yeah, this is just the route we had to go, and we didn't need to spend this much money, but like I said, we were creeping up on it anyway. And I would much rather have all new stuff. I'm gonna get back to work. Oh, everything is so freaking crazy right now. I could change this light right here, and somehow this is what the kitchen would look like. Damn, guys. I didn't get very much of that because there's just no way. That was kind of a bitch. I've got her in there. Got a couple proper spacers in the front part and just the wood pieces in the back. Hopefully it holds up okay. And I can always replace that with some plastic. But it's in there. Nice and solid. Managed to get the copper tube. And then next is the thermostat, which we'll probably put right about there. Then we just hook everything up, turn it on. It's gonna work perfectly right out of the gate. I know it. All right, this little temperature sensor here just connects using this little clamping plate. And you wanna make sure that it's touching right at the coiled end, but nowhere else. Cleaned up my mess. Try to get the sawdust off the eggs and the apples. Now, it's time for the fun part. Famous last words, I know, but that should be the hard part. Now, just make the connections. All the electrical and the 2 quick connections for the suction tube and the other little thingamajigger. Turn it on and see what happens. Oh, look what I found. It's clear down the bottom, so it was actually kind of cold. I think it's meant to be. Alright, this is taking a while, so I'm just going to crank on these 2 connections, and then it'll be time to turn it on. See what happens. Hopefully, cold things. All connections are made. Such a simple project on the surface. And yet, this is taking me a couple hours. At least, just to get this all together. Let's turn this thing on and see what happens. It's starting to sprinkle. I might have to close my windows first. Yep, I was right. Just a little shower. It's a pretty one, huh? Alright, enough fooling around. I think it's time to turn this sucker on. Let's do it. So we want galley outboard. Turn on our thermostat. I hear it. Alright, there it goes. Oh my gosh. The thing got instantly cold. That's good. Woohoo! I'm going to stock this thing back up and we'll see how fast it gets down to temperature. Currently, I'm going to call this a early success. Early returns suggest that it's working. Alright. Warm food. Prepare to be cold again. I am working my way through all of the lifelines and stripping the plastic coating off. And it is one of those jobs that it sounded pretty easy, pretty simple. And it is. But it turned out to be much more time consuming than I thought it would be. But I've started now, no stopping. And it really does look better. The bare cable shines up surprisingly well after 30 years of having that white coating on it. And most newer boats don't have the coating on it anyway. Ours is brittle and yellowed and it's got rust rings on it and it's missing in some spots. So this seemed like the smartest first step in trying to make things just look shiny and nice, and it's really working well. I just wanted to sit down and wax philosophical about refrigerators. I don't know, it just kind of struck me this morning how nice it is to have a refrigerator. The fridge is extremely cold. It's so nice to be able to just reach in and pull out the milk for the coffee, to everything you're cooking. It's right there, right next to the stove. And it just kind of got me thinking about one of the reasons that we, and I think a lot of people, come out and cruise, and that is sort of to retrain ourselves to appreciate a lot of things in life. And it really does work. Most people, like us, before we came out here, middle-class Americans, Europeans, etc., sit in an air-conditioned home if they need it to be, and a big working fridge, or at least reasonably big, freezer, car in the garage, that kind of stuff. You don't even think about not having it. And so for 3 months, literally 3 months, we lived with no refrigeration. Yeah, it was kind of a pain in the butt, especially when you're used to having a working refrigerator. But it was fine. We survived absolutely fine. It certainly makes us happier to have a working fridge, but it didn't diminish the quality of our life that much. And now when we have this working fridge back, such a small, modest thing, it's just the best thing ever. I appreciate it so much. And I think there's a lot to this sailing life that works that way. Things aren't just simple. They aren't just easy. You got to kind of work for it a little bit. And sometimes that you improve the boat to take care of those things. And then when you do, it feels really good, and you just really appreciate that you have whatever that thing is, because you dealt without it for a while. And I think that's really good for rivers. You live for 3 months just pulling stuff out of a cooler. Sometimes we had cold things, sometimes they got warm, sometimes they got waterlogged, sometimes we had some ice, sometimes we didn't. Sometimes it was late and we'd have to go buy ice because we didn't get a chance to during the day. And I hope that wherever he winds up in life, and whether he decides to continue to live kind of like this, or if he just goes back to a land life when he's grown up, whatever, I hope this kind of stuff helps him appreciate the pretty basic things that we take for granted in life, like a refrigerator. And I think that'll make him a better person. At least I hope so. I feel like it is making us appreciate things more, and we're adults set in our ways. All right, there was my long-winded, waxing philosophical about refrigerators and the benefits of not having one for a while. Cheers. A little sporty out today.
Prickly Bay is the next bay over from Woburn, and it's the one closest to Budget Marine and the hardware stores, which we've been frequenting for various reasons quite often. But every time we go to Prickly, it seems to look like this.
Just add it to the list of things that weren't really supposed to be an issue, and now the inverter and charger has been finicky, I will call it, from the very beginning. When he pulled in to deliver the boat, he's like, I can't get the inverter to work, charger's barely charging. I'm like, God. So then, whatever, he got it working, and now that I've messed with it some, I know it's just kind of random. We've gotten to this habit of you gotta do all the different steps in different orders to get the charger to come on. And then lately it'll just turn off on its own. Today it is just off and it will not turn on. I've had the control panel out. I've been doing, there's nothing much to do. It's simplest connections you can imagine. It's a Freedom Marine 2000, and based on the tag on the side, it's either February of 2005 or May of 2002. I don't know which order those numbers are in. So it's like a 20-year-old. We're looking at inverters down here, and they're so freaking expensive. We can get the kind of inverter we want for gosh, almost $1,000 cheaper if we could have just waited until we were in the U.S. because we were thinking we were probably going to replace it regardless. Anyway, I'm about to do something really crazy, I think. Really weird. So what you do is you disconnect the batteries and then you turn it on under any kind of load. So basically we'll turn it on the panel over here and make sure some things are turned on. Then you short a screwdriver across the battery terminals, not the battery terminals, the terminals where the battery connects to the inverter. And that's supposed to drain it of all the collected power inside of it, and then you turn it back on and it'll basically reset. It's like really old technology, and apparently that kind of crap works sometimes. Need a big old screwdriver. It's insulated. Check. It's nothing because it's not charging. Just nothing.
Back to the drawing board.
We have a seemingly bad inverter. So we're going to try a new panel on it, but that's downtown at the other chandlery.
So first we're going to budget.
Where they have a small portable inverter, just a little 400 watt job.
Which might do the trick for now.
Yeah, we hope it'll do the trick. Just to charge up our tablets and stuff,
Yeah.
and run the computer.
Yesterday we had a lot of trouble with that.
We had to run the generator the whole time we wanted to use AC power for anything. Which we probably would have yesterday anyway because it was so cloudy, but still. But we also need other stuff at budget, and so we're going to grab that there. That's where we are right now.
Oh, those are wet. Okay, I'm not gonna wear those.
Zeke, you can go. You ready to go budget? I think it rained overnight.
Now the other side. Oh, Jesus.
That's heavy.
Okay. I'm ready.
Good job. Of the three bears, we prefer the baby bear or the mama bear to climb into the dinghy when it's hanging from the davits.
Okay, let's find the things. Well, we went to both Budget and Island Water World. We bought some things. Some things didn't work.
The one was definitely a Hail Mary. Hoping that replacing the control panel would be the fix for it, because it does seem like the control panel is, I don't know, I can't make up my mind about it. Regardless, the control panel we bought just won't work with it because it's so old. It's 20 years old, and it's just not the same technology as all the Xantrex inverters that this will work on. But we got a little inverter for $70. It's a little 400 watt 110 inverter, and it's worked great so far, and it's more than enough power to charge all that stuff. Then I ran a cable all the way from it to my office, which kind of sucks because now there's this cable running across the living room. But it'll power all my stuff too. So we don't have to run the generator every time we want AC power.